President Donald Trump just met up with Zohran Mamdani and had one of his all-time best moments.
To Stephen Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views.
Oh boy.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Dude is so uncomfortable, it's crazy. Today was one of the moments of all time.
I wanted to ask...
I have never seen dominance being asserted this positively in my entire life. Like, I'll be real, I did not expect this meeting to go like this at all, and we're going to watch it today. I didn't see it yet. I heard it was incredible. We're going to be looking at it. But there's a lot that we need to talk about because the leftoids are melting down that Donald Trump absolutely manhandled him, and he completely caved to Trump on basically everything. This is absolutely diabolical. Bro just casually saying, yeah, just call me a fascist, I don't care. People don't realize how big this is. You're blackpilling when the media lost all of its power. You're blackpilling when people are wrapped around Trump's pinky despite being his archest nemesis. You're blackpilling when he doesn't care that the media is calling him a fascist to his face, and you're blackpilling? These words mean nothing anymore. You have to see what's going on. So first, the House Republicans pass a resolution to condemn socialism. This wins in the House. Socialism is now condemned, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely diabolical. This is fantastic because socialism is terrible, is what you probably thought I was going to say. This is performative theater. This is worth nothing. I don't care. I do not care about strongly worded letters. For the love of God, arrest someone, okay? I want to see a powerful guy go to jail. I want to see someone rich getting deported, all right? I want to see something diabolical. I don't care. And I'll be real, I think the number one fundamental issue with the Trump administration and with the entire, right wing, the Republican Party, is the boomers. There's just a vast majority of boomers in the Congress that refuse to do anything meaningful because they're so busy playing button-up politics. So while, yeah, socialism is trash and anti-God and anti-biblical values in every possible way, I don't care. I don't care about your condemnations. Do something. Zohran Mamdani had some all-time hits, so you have to understand exactly what we're dealing with before we look at what happened when he went into the White House, and then I have to show you the meltdowns, because the leftist meltdowns are diabolical.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City.
This is Jose.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt.
His aunt!
Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
The number one victim of 9/11 was Zohran Mamdani's aunt. We cannot forget this brave woman who fought for her faith and was the biggest victim of a terrorist attack that killed 3,000 people and started endless wars. So we have to think of Zohran Mamdani's aunt at all times. Now, there's a reason why I'm showing you this clip. Zohran Mamdani ran his entire campaign on being a radical Islamist communist. That is exactly what he ran his campaign on every step of the way. He started off with Trump evil, Trump bad. So this is a clip of him just a few months ago while he was running Trump evil, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump evil.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare.
Oh boy. Hyper radical anti-Trump. What's his administration going to do? Anti-Trump. Anti-Trump. Inject the anti-Trump into me. All right. Now, this is what happens right after he got elected.
I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
Oh my God. The moment after he wins the election, absolute cave to Donald Trump. It's crazy how this keeps happening. It's almost like this. It's all political theater to get the votes. He wants to enact his policies, and he doesn't care who he has to grovel to. Now, remember, he is a super anti-ICE guy. This was him screaming at the border czar of the United States of America just a couple months ago.
How many New Yorkers not charged? Do you believe
do you believe in the First Amendment? How dare you deport people? How dare you deport people that invaded our country illegally? Don't you believe in the First Amendment? I mean, obviously, dude's not playing a full deck. Or is he? Or is he just an incredibly subversive agent that is super, super talented at getting the retard vote? Because that's exactly what he did if you think about it, and it's crazy. Now, the leftoids are losing their mind. So this is everyone's favorite leftoid on Twitter. She's not relevant, so I don't even know who she is. But she shows up from time to time, crashing out that Zohran Mamdani absolutely and utterly caved to the establishment.
Let me talk about Hakeem Jeffries for a moment, who now may face a challenge from Chiose, who is a member of the DSA. You said that there are local issues that Mr. Osei should be focused on, maybe should remain a councilman. Are you saying he should not run against Hakeem Jeffries?
No, I'm saying that I think the focus should be right here on New York City. I respect the work that Councilmember Osei has done.
But what does that mean? Should he not run?
I think that right now is not the time to be engaging in that kind of a primary.
Not the time to primary the establishment. We have to toe the line.
Let me just say before I respond to this nonsense that anybody who wants to
For the record, this is a radical leftoid that's crashing out that all these people that were like Zohran and AOC that were supposedly anti-establishment, anti-oligarchy, that they're all completely caving, and the leftoids are losing it.
come in here and go, I told you he was gonna, you can fuck off. Democrats sucking is not revelatory. I guess some of you guys think that's an
Agreed.
because you think it's binary. Like you either have to be outside of the electoral system or you have to constantly kiss the ass of Democrats. Anyway, this video is not about arguing with other people on the left about electoralism versus not. It's about this bullshit. This is fucking bullshit. What kind of bullshit is this?
Oh my, not getting what you wanted. Oh, that must suck for you.
How come no one asked him why? Because this was the shit that AOC pulled the other day. Oh, it's not the time. Why?
Because they're also part of the establishment and they're gigantic pussies. Because he's the mayor of New York City and now he's doing his best to suck the schlongs of every single guy that sticks one in front of his face.
Why? Why isn't it the time? Can
That's
either
why.
of you explain why it's not the time?
I got you. Because you have to understand, he ran a campaign based on lies and bullshit where he promised promises that he couldn't keep. All right? Free buses that are faster under communism. Don't you know that communist buses drive faster? These people are all liars. They're all frauds. They're all in it for themselves and their own personal agendas. Now, I personally believe that the personal agenda of Zohran Mamdani is to import infinite Muslims and refuse to let ICE deport any of them. And therefore, slowly but surely, turn New York City into New Yorkistan. That's my suspicion, and I think he's using the anti-ICE and the communism shit as a Trojan horse to get the retard vote. That's my opinion. I've said this the entire time from the get-go. Now he just has to play nice and suck everyone's dick in order to stay in power. And the leftoids, who thought they were electing some sort of communist insurrectionist guy that was going to fight tooth and nail against the establishment, they're all left in the dark. Because these retards, these are all frauds. They don't believe in what they're promoting. Don't you understand that it is an inherently immoral ideology that can never survive itself?
Because you know what I think? Democrats love.
This is like the people saying tax the millionaires, and then they become a millionaire, and then they start saying tax the billionaires. Like, these people are all in it for themselves.
Tell people it's not the time. They love that. It wasn't the time to criticize anybody in the Democratic Party during Trump's first administration because we had to resist the administration. Then it wasn't the time to criticize the Democratic Party during the primary because we needed to consolidate to beat Trump. Then after Biden won it, wasn't the time to criticize them because he needed to get his agenda.
Dude, I am loving this. The leftoids just can't fathom the fact that their party is run by completely immoral retards that are trying their best to stay corrupt and stay in power by all means necessary. Like, she can't even fathom this.
Of which, of course, he didn't. Then it wasn't the time to criticize them because we needed to keep our powder dry so that he would work with the progressives, in which he, of course, did not. Then it was, oh, you can't criticize him because he's going to be running against Trump. And then he imploded on stage and melted, and everybody saw that he was, like, literally senile. So then they brought in Kamala and went, okay, but now you can't criticize the Democrats or her now because we have to beat Trump. This is
correct. As badly as the Democrats cooked our country, they've cooked their own people more. True, which is why you should stop voting for them, because they're all immoral retards. Reestablish a new party that follows the word of God. We call it the Old Testament party, where we bring back actual justice and reform. All right, but anyway, you probably think I'm joking, so I'm just gonna leave it open-ended. But she has another minute-long crash out about how she's not getting anything she wants from these people that she's been supporting, obviously.
The time. Okay, so what is the time? When is the time? It's almost...
No, please do it. Please. Actually, keep infighting. I agree. Definitely stab each other in the back. Keep doing it, actually. It's great. I love it.
Like you guys are saying, there is never a good time to participate in democracy.
No. Definitely. Fight your own people. Absolutely. I agree. Don't worry. I'm on your side, bitch. Don't worry, bitch. I'm with you, bitch. Ho, all the way. All right, I'll support whatever pronouns you need. Keep backstabbing other leftists.
It's almost like you were saying that it's never a good time to criticize the Democratic Party. That line is not only such trash.
True. Keep doing it. Keep criticizing your own party. I agree.
Because to say that it's not the time to participate in democracy is to say that you don't believe in democracy. You don't believe that people...
You're not in a democracy. You're in a... You're not in a democracy. You're in a constitutional republic. Oh, it's not easy to be retarded.
Will have the right
You have to be born that way.
Participate in democracy from the party of democracy. But the second thing is...
We're not in a democracy.
Actually, I can't think of a better time than now. Now is a great time, actually.
Do it,
Somebody
do
get
it.
them on the record to explain why. Because their reasons
Yeah, so this is like a glorious crash out, and she doesn't stop. She just keeps repeating herself again and again, losing her mind. Zohran Mamdani talked shit on the campaign, stood like a scared child next to his daddy. Just look at this, crazy. So anyway, anywho, like, I'm gonna show you the clips as we're gonna watch the entire interview together, because apparently it's insanely good. This is a radical leftist Twitter account. Social democracy is objectively the moderate wing of fascism. Zohran is a national socialist. I am shitting you not. The left turned on Zohran so badly, they are calling him a Nazi. The National Socialist Party is the Nazi party. They say that he is one step away from pure fascism, because it's true he's a socialist, but he's chilling with Trump. He's chilling with caring about New York and our nation. So they're calling him a Nazi. He's being eaten by his own people. It's incredible. Obviously, there's a million of these. Social democracy is the left wing of fascism. In other words, again, this is coming from a communist account, right? So communist account, social democracy is fascism, right? So they're calling Zohran Mamdani a fascist now. All right, so this is someone, the red triangle is like the Hamas triangle. If you tell me I can't call him a national socialist for this, I will laugh in your face. Dog, what? Because he shook Trump's hand and he looks like a scared little bitch. All of a sudden, they're calling him a Nazi. This is incredible. This is everything I've ever hoped. The leftists are already blackpilling about the Mamdani visit. At this meeting with Trump now, Zohran Mamdani was asked about the anti-genocide protests at the Zionist synagogue recruiting settlers to illegally settle Palestinian lands. In response, Zohran said he cares very deeply about Jewish safety and hopes to root out anti-Semitism across every borough in New York. So he is already smearing anti-genocide protesters as rabid anti-Semites. And vowing to crack down on them with his beloved genocidal Zionist Likudnik police officer commissioner Jessica Tisch, who Trump also praised and said he was a family friend of theirs, because of course she is. They are calling Zohran Mamdani a Nazi, a fascist, and a Zionist because he condemned violent riots outside of random Jewish synagogues in New York. This is everything I've ever wanted to see. This is incredible. I've never... Dude, I knew the crash out would be insane, because obviously the socialist, communist, Islamic utopia that Zohran was promising of the campaign trail was obviously never going to happen. I did not think it would happen before he even came into office. Zohran is not in office, and everyone's already made a complete U-turn. He's like, yeah, actually, violently rioting in front of random synagogues in New York is actually a bad thing. And they're like, no! He's running cover for the Zionists! So this is Ken Klippenstein. He's a radical leftist. He's like a Hassan Piker associate. Trump is being nicer to Mamdani than the Democrat leadership was. We are getting the radical left to flip out like crazy, because it turns out Trump is just a decent guy, and that's what no one will ever understand. Trump is not an ingrained politician, which is why people like him so much. Neither is Zohran, by the way, which is why I think Trump actually did take a liking to him, because he's not your conventional politician. They cannot fathom that Trump is actually kind of based, and they hate it so much. So in order to rationalize this meeting in their own minds, they have to call Zohran Mamdani cancerous, Nazi, fascist Zionist, even though he's a radical, anti-Zionist, globalize the intifada, chanting motherfucker. And Trump, who they cannot rationalize that he actually took the complete and utter upper hand. They've been calling him senile for the last 6 months. They're saying, oh, he's old, he's falling apart, he doesn't know what he's talking, and he just absolutely dominated. It's insane. So, all right, let's look at this, because this is the crash out that I like to see.
Well, thank you very much. We've just had
just the power move of him standing here, of him talking, while Zohran Mamdani is standing there unhappy behind him, you know, covering his small penis with his hands. Highly feminine energy.
great meeting, a really good, very productive meeting.
So apparently this Oval Office talking to reporters thing is right after they had a closed doors meeting. I don't know what was said in that closed doors meeting, but Trump must have fucking smacked this guy around. And he probably caves on everything. My guess is, all right, here's my analysis, all right? They had a meeting that went super well. Trump got everything he asked for. And Zohran Mamdani is like, okay, cool. I'm happy I made Trump happy. In possibly one of the most hilarious ways ever, because you know Trump. Trump will shit on you if you don't glaze the shit out of him. This is Trump 101. Well, Zohran glazed. He got down on his knees, man. He was the new Bill Clinton, if you read the Epstein files.
We have one thing in common. We want this city of ours that we love to do very well. And I wanted to congratulate...
I feel so bad for Zohran, man. All he wanted was to bring in an Islamic communist utopia, and here he is, a complete deer in headlights, obeying the whims of the man that he ran his entire campaign on hating. Damn, it must be brutal to be him. His aunt is rolling over in her grave right now.
The mayor, he really ran an incredible race against, a lot of smart people, starting with the early...
This dude was calling him a Nazi, he was calling him a jihadist, and here they are, after all said and done, in the White House together. The president sitting down. Dude, this is just it's insane how much of politics is just theater. And I do hope that he manages to rein him in a little bit.
Primaries against some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat him easily. And I congratulated him. And
That's a big man, by the way, right? Trump won the election by like a vast majority, and people were seething. Right? That's a big man. Because he did not want Zohran to win. He made it clear. He tweeted multiple times about it. He did not want Zohran to win. That's a big man.
Talked about some things in very strong common, like housing and getting housing built, and food and prices, and the price of oil is coming way down. That anything I do is going to be good for New York. If I can get prices down, it's good for New York. And we've got them down, way down from last year. We have... As you know, I've been saying to a lot of people, Walmart said that Thanksgiving this year is exactly 25% less than last year. So that's good for New York, good for everybody.
Damn.
But I just want to congratulate.
Big Trump victories. And guess who has to glaze Trump for all that?
I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am, I will say. There's no
hell yeah, dude.
Difference in...
Look, all of us are hoping for the same thing. Well, all of us, meaning me and probably you guys in my audience and Trump. We're hoping for a healthier, better, stronger, safer, greater America, ultimately. I think that we're all pretty much on the same page on this one. I don't know what Zohran Mamdani's plan. I think Zohran Mamdani also wants a better, safer, greater America, but I think his definition of greater is with 100 times as many imports from certain countries around the world.
Party, there's no difference in anything, and we're going to be helping him to make everybody's
speedier visas to anyone that fucks their first cousin.
Dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York, and congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
Wow.
I appreciate it.
He appreciates it, huh? This is coming a long way from saying, I will be his worst nightmare.
The meeting with the president, and as he said, it was a productive meeting focused on a place of shared admiration and love, which is New York City, and the need to deliver affordability to New Yorkers, the 8.5 million people who call our city their home, who are struggling to afford life in the most expensive city in the United States of America.
He's defending people that call New York their home, not people who are literally legal in New York.
We spoke about rent, we spoke about groceries, we spoke about utilities, we spoke about the different ways in which people are being pushed out, and I appreciated the time with the president, I appreciated the conversation, I look forward to working together.
Going with the full thank you, he's giving him the reach around. Dude, I have never, ever seen this level of respect before in this Oval Office. Dude, Zelensky could not handle this. He couldn't. That's why he got laughed at, because Trump gave him billions of dollars, and he just could not cope.
Deliver that affordability for New Yorkers.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
President Trump, Stephen Nelson from the New York Post. I've got a question for you and then also one for the mayor-elect. For you, you've referred to Mr. Mamdani as a communist. Could you describe why you feel that way? And also, will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
That's not happening.
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question. And on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot.
He's gonna change.
Changed a lot from when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even.
Look at him just complimenting himself in front of Zohran, who ran his entire campaign on being Trump's worst nightmare.
The first term.
He just has to stand there and take it. I don't know. I feel like watching this, it just comes off as Zohran Mamdani accidentally just became like a guy in Trump's corner. Like, it's so weird.
I can tell you some of my views have changed, and we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to.
You called him a communist. What do you think? People could change. He's going to change.
Surprise some conservative people, actually.
All right.
And some very liberal people who won't surprise him because they already like him.
And for Mr. Mamdani, it sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said
I'm laughing.
Would be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And
shout out to deporting all those people that are there illegally. That's my opinion. So I actually have a really interesting analysis. All right, there's a lot of traffic. It's really hard to get around. There's 10 million illegals in New York. The costs are up. 10 million illegals in New York. There's an issue with vacancies in apartments in New York City. Well, there's 10 million illegals in New York. The price of real estate went up. Yeah, there's 10 million illegals in New York, which probably contributes. Crime, 10 million illegals in New York. Not safe. Subways packed. 10 million illegals in New York. Buses slower. 10 million illegals in New York. A lot of things actually have one simple answer could solve a lot of these issues.
the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that.
Dude, nothing phases this man.
That insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together.
Oh my God! I wonder. We'll see what happens. This is gonna be really weird because I've never seen like the so the radical leftists, like the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders. They had nothing but disdain for Trump, like to the point that Bernie Sanders unironically went on Joe Rogan and said, "Actually, you suppose if the media lies about you, you have to take it. You have to let them lie about you. You could never sue them to stop them from lying about you because that is a tyrannical government." It's like, what the fuck are you talking? You are actually retarded. It's like, but anyway, that's just the classic retard. So it's weird to see Zohran Mamdani instantly folding to this man when all the radical leftoids could not. They just went down the TDS self-destruction path.
Yes, please.
Mr. President, Anthony
In a way, it's dangerous. Like, Zohran Mamdani lied about everything on his entire campaign. I wonder what else he's lying about.
From MTV Lebanon. I would like to ask you a question about the Middle East regarding, you said that Hezbollah in Lebanon is not in a good position.
Yeah,
and
true.
Lebanon now
Hezbollah in Lebanon is cooked.
is the final unresolved after Gaza and Syria. Given your assessment, like, what do you say for the Lebanese today? It's the Independence Day in Lebanon. And what is...
Lebanon used to be a Christian majority country. Now it is a Muslim majority country. Now, I don't know how that happened personally. It's probably because of the overwhelming amounts of white supremacy that killed all the Christians. Probably all the straight white males, the cisgender straight white males, the Hasidic Zionist Jews. Probably those guys also got involved. I can't personally figure out why it used to be a Christian majority country and now it is a Muslim majority country. I personally can't figure out the source. But yeah, Lebanon's cooked because in southern Lebanon, you have Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization that got absolutely walloped by Israel over the last couple of years. And currently they're getting hit from everywhere because the actual Lebanese government hates them too.
Next move to push toward disarmament, the disarmament
Sure.
of Hezbollah.
Well, we are pushing for total disarmament of Hamas and, frankly, everybody else. And we actually have peace in the Middle East. As you know, the King of Saudi Arabia just left yesterday. We had some great meetings, and he's made a contribution toward the United States of more than $1 trillion. We have now over $20 trillion coming in. No country has ever had anything like that, not even
That's not in the media. The media doesn't talk about this because obviously it makes it look really good that Trump is bringing in trillions of dollars to the country. That's obviously not something important for the people to know. People have to know about the Epstein files, which literally make all the Democrats look way worse than it even makes Trump.
If you go to 2 trillion or 1 trillion, it's a lot. We have 20 or 21 trillion dollars. I think that Hezbollah has been a problem in Lebanon, big problem. We're working with Lebanon.
Killed hundreds of Americans. I mean, they've contributed to the deaths of 600,000 people in Syria.
We're working with everybody in the Middle East. That's another thing I think we have in common. We want to see peace in the Middle East, and we actually have now, for the first time, peace in the Middle East after 3,000 years. And now we're going to refine it.
Yeah,
and I think
maybe.
You're going to see some very positive things happen.
I think if we do the Abraham Accords, include all the countries, that would be insane.
Is the potential to invite the Lebanese president to meet you to the White House?
I would do that, absolutely. And if the mayor would like to be here for that meeting, because I know he feels very strongly. I think you feel very, very strongly about peace in the Middle East.
We desperately want it, and that's something that I shared with the president, that when I spoke to New Yorkers who had voted for...
All right, let's guess. Genocide,
the president last November on Hillside Avenue and Fordham Road, I asked them why. I heard again and again two major reasons. One was that they wanted an end to forever wars. They wanted an end to the taxpayer dollars we had funding violations of human rights, and they wanted to address the cost of living crisis. And I appreciated the chance to discuss both of those things.
He said a lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that.
Damn.
I'll do that. I'll sign it. Give it to me. I'll sign it in a minute. That's pretty good.
Mr. President, you've threatened to send federal troops to New York City. You both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Mamdani, you've called ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how you reconcile your differences on both of those issues.
Well, I think we're going to work them out, and I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, you know, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have...
Deport all illegals. Every single illegal. Deport. No caving. Not on one iota. Every illegal. Get them all out. It will help every part of life in New York. Every part of life.
Pete, we discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York, ultimately.
Yeah, of course, more than anything else. Because this is, in my opinion, what Zohran was running on.
A safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with
we'll see what happens.
Anything else, we can talk about anything you want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success.
Ultimately, I do think that the illegal immigration and the safety has a lot of overlap. So ultimately, we'll see what happens. Fundamentally, I think that if you import people from a country that think that rape is actually not so bad, then you're going to see a lot more rape. Look at Londanistan, as they call it. Look at everyone's other favorite Muslim majority countries like Spain, or France. Like, bro, it's crazy over there. It really is. Like, you have these grooming gangs running around in England raping children. It's insane. So realistically, I think when you import people that think rape isn't so bad, then you're going to see a lot more of it. Ultimately, I do think that the crime and immigration actually does have a lot in common. So we'll see what happens.
So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it at great length. Yes, please.
Yeah, two questions, if I may. One
all right, we'll see what happens.
Mr. President, on BBC in a second. But first of all, for the mayor-elect, you're both from different parts of the political spectrum.
Yeah.
You're both populists, though, and I just wonder to what extent the president's campaign style, his techniques, his social media use inspired any part of your campaign.
Well, I actually told the president that
you know, so much of the focus of our campaign has been on the cost of living crisis. And when we asked those New Yorkers who had voted for the president, when we saw an increase in his numbers in New York City, that came back to the same issue: cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about,
you know, deporting 20 million illegals would really help that. Am I the only one that's seeing it this way? Like, bro, we have 7 million too few houses in the United States. We have 30 million illegals in the United States. Like, come on, dude.
the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of Con Ed, the cost of childcare. And too often politicians are looking to lecture to New Yorkers what they should care about as opposed to listen. And when we spoke to those voters who voted for President Trump, we heard them speak about cost of living. We focused on that same cost of living, and that's where I am really...
So basically, yes, you did use Trump's same campaign about cost of living and stuff. So basically, you're like Trump's #1 fan is what you're trying to say.
Looking forward to delivering for New Yorkers in partnership with the president on the affordability agenda.
Well, now we know why all the leftists on Twitter are calling him a Nazi, because he's actually just kind of glazing Trump the entire time. This is crazy. This is insane. By the way, I want to see the country work together. I want to see the left and the right working together as much as possible. Now, the issue is the left keeps trying to kill us, which, you know, makes it difficult, essentially. You know, like, you can't really unify with people that want you dead so much. So, ultimately, this is the goal. The goal is the whole country working together, different ideas, battling each other, may the best ideas win. Ultimately, that's the ideal. The issue is the ideas on the other side of the political spectrum violate all 10 of the 10 commandments and all 7 of the 7 deadly sins. They're like, yo, let's endorse communism, stealing money from people that earn it. Let's abort babies. Let's castrate children. And that's what we're seeing all the time. So this is like, there's an impasse here. But ideally, I want to see friendship and unity. Even though I don't really want to unify with murderers.
And I think we have to work a little bit. We talked about Con Edison. We have to work a little bit on getting the prices, because, you know, we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison. And we're going to have to talk to them.
Oh, interesting.
You know, if we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering the rates.
Con Edison scam.
And if I may, last week you told me you were pushing ahead with your plans to sue the BBC for up to $5 billion. You're going to speak to Prime Minister Starmer as well. Is there any progress or any updates
the shit out
on
of
those
them.
issues?
Well, the BBC, for the record, is the British news that essentially released a doctored footage of Trump on January 6th to make it look like Trump caused some insurrection, and they edited it to make it look like Trump said fight, when the actual footage was Trump saying not to fight. So now he's suing them for $5 billion.
We get along very well with the Prime Minister. We made a deal with UK.
Yeah, Starmer's another giant pussy. Like, this is Trump Doctrine 101. This is the art of the deal. You don't make peace with your friends. You make peace with your enemies. So he goes out there and he gets all these people to kiss the ring.
I like him. He's a fine person, and you know, I think they have some big energy problems. Right. You know, they've got.
I mean, this is the classic Trump. You know, if someone's willing to work with you and kiss the ring, he's going to call you a nice, fine person. This is every single time. Starmer is a wanker. All right, Starmer's a wanker. That's like a literal slogan in England. Like, that dude is a nightmare. He opens the borders to tens of thousands of illegals every month. Dude's an actual nightmare.
Mills all over the place. They're going to have to start using other methods because their energy is out of control. Talking about in the UK, it's out of control. And he's got that problem. He's got a big immigration problem, as you know. Yeah. He's got a big energy problem. And we talk about it. He's a good man. Prime Minister's a good man.
Yeah, he's a weak man.
I haven't spoken this week.
Have you spoken to President Zelensky, or do you intend to meet with him, President Zelensky, about your plan? Are you going to meet with him?
See, Zelensky refused to kiss the ring, and he ended up thrown out on his ass. It's kind of interesting how that keeps happening.
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president. And it's a shame, and I thought they should have acted quicker. But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. We have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve it. Just so sad, so many people. You know, last month they lost 25,000 soldiers.
Oh my God.
This is something, we haven't seen anything like this since the Second World War. And they're averaging 6,000 or 7,000 a week between the two of them. dead soldiers. And it goes on, and I think they're getting reasonably close, but I don't want to predict. I would have said that would have been one of my early ones. I did 8 peace deals of countries, including in India, Pakistan. You could even go, in fact, they're coming here in a week or two, go to the Congo and Rwanda. That was 10 million people dead.
Yeah, nightmare.
And we worked something out on that. But so many. And the one I thought would have been, for me, because I have a very good relationship with President Putin, I thought that would have been maybe quicker. But it does take 2 to tango. And now you just see all the death. And, it doesn't affect us other than the fact that we don't want to see all those people dead. Really, it's on the other side of the ocean.
Yep.
It's a war that should have never happened. It did happen. I blame the person also sitting right behind this desk. This is a war that should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened if I were president. But we're trying to save a lot of lives. They're losing 25,000 lives over the last short period of time. That's Ukrainian and Russian, and it's a shame.
I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution. It just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats.
I showed this. Performative garbage, but socialism is also trash. Again, I really wish that the Republicans in Congress would actually do something useful instead of just do performative, strongly worded letters.
All of House Dem leadership and the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I've focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you...
See, it's crazy because he's completely right. He's ultimately completely correct. And that's why he won. Because he doesn't care about the grandiose, random bullshit, strongly worded letters. None of that matters. Literally none of that matters. What matters is what you actually do. And that's why Zohran Mamdani won. Because he's like, I'm going to actually fight for you. I'm going to work for you. And then you have other people that are nebulously ranting and talking about boomer economics. Like anyone gives a shit. Oh, I condemn no one cares.
I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Bro, that's one of the generational Trump clips. That's insane. Words mean nothing anymore. They mean absolutely nothing.
I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism.
Come on, dude. Zelensky, man, you have no chance of winning this, man. You gotta make concessions and make peace. It's both of them. It's a nightmare.
That this deal proposal.
He doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of tenuous about
He'll
it.
have to like it, and if he doesn't like it, then they should just keep fighting, I guess.
The suggestion that he made, though, was that if he doesn't accept it, that the U.S. would pull back its support for Ukraine. Is that
Well, at some
accurate?
point he's going to have to accept something. He hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office not so long ago, I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. I would have this war never
would have started if I was president.
Happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal.
Notice how Zohran Mamdani's wearing a suit, huh? Notice.
A year ago.
Pretty weird.
2 years ago. The ultimate deal would have been if it never started. That would have been the good deal. That could have been done too if you had the right president, but you didn't have the right president.
Mr. President, the cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on. Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policy specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long.
If you deported 20 million illegals... I'm sorry if it sounds like a broken clock, but it's like you don't have enough apartments, so everything goes up in price. Well, yeah, if you have 20 million less illegals, bro, it actually does impact it quite a lot.
before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past.
That's right. Ultimately, he won the young vote because he's not a boomer.
And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics.
Yeah, by taxing them more and giving that money to broke people that are not willing to contribute anything to society, and also by opening the prisons. Your policies are absolute garbage, which in my opinion is why he's probably going to change everything he ran on by the time he actually takes office. So far, I've been completely right about basically all of my predictions. I was right that this guy won. I was right that he was going to kiss the ring. And I was right that this dude is dropping all of the communism shit because obviously he can't give free things to everyone. Now I guess time will tell if I'm right about the fighting back against migration being his main thing because he wants to overthrow New York and turn it into a Muslim majority city.
So that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. Mamdani.
You know, we had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have.
Oh, shit.
But a big thing on cost, you know, the new word is affordability. Another word is just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, you know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our...
Look, for those of you that aren't paying attention, the average salary is higher and the inflation is lower under Trump. Like, you cannot deny the facts, the numbers on the paper that prove that he's cooking.
Country the last 4 years under the Biden administration, and we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something in it?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law.
Yeah.
Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms of it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with U.S.
I don't
law?
know. Would you want to? Do you want to respond to that?
I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
So you work with ICE?
Complete and utter non-answer.
We work with ICE then?
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
Mr. Mamdani,
What we did is we discussed crime. More than ICE per se, we discussed crime. And he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime. And I have very little doubt that...
I guess we'll see whose policies are better. I think all of us want to see less crime. I think that deporting all the illegals would definitely solve that a lot. There are guys running around on bicycles just mugging people now in New York. If you've seen my previous video on this, you know what I'm talking about. There's a notorious bandit right now that has like robbed 30 stores by reaching over and emptying the cash register, where the police went out and said, don't worry, we have a solution. Just move the cash registers out of arm's reach instead of arresting the guy. Bro, that's not right, bro. We should not be living in a city where the police are telling you to move the cash registers out of arm's reach instead of arresting people. Okay? So ultimately, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc.
We'll see.
You know, we actually, people would be shocked, but I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters.
Yeah,
Mr. President, I wanted to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to...
Oh, God, good question. To white neighborhoods. He's going to cook them on the identity politics shit. Oh, God. This is Jack Posobiec, right? Dude,
to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people. I also noticed that
He literally did say that, for the record.
in your acceptance speech, you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform, because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our city.
But to be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
that's what you said.
No,
It is what he said.
The use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
Please. All right, so for the record, he said he wants to tax whiter neighborhoods at a higher rate. All right, he say that has nothing to do with the race. It just describes the neighborhoods. Happens to be all the white neighborhoods are the rich ones. Like, come on, dude, get out of here.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want
which taxes the white people more, correct.
A New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
The goal is to take money away from the rich people in New York, which are the white people and the Jews, and give that money to the illegals that are invading New York. That is, yes, exactly what he's fighting for. Correct. Damn, he folded. He did. He he had nothing, because that's exactly the goal.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city? And President Trump, you've threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see
If we don't get along, you keep kissing the ring, old boy, and we will keep playing fetch. The moment you stop, that's when shit hits the fan.
Use the term, we don't want good money going after bad, and we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say that, subject to what policies are being said. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built. He wants to see rents.
Yeah, but he's also head in the clouds. He wants to see no crime. So he's abolishing prisons.
Coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down.
I agree. I think that they both want no crime in an ideal universe, and they do have disagreements. Trump is like, actually arrest the people, and he's like, no, actually, we just need to release them and have more therapists and social workers on the police force. But I just think his policies won't work. I guess that's the difference, in my opinion.
One of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally by building a lot of additional housing.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No,
that's fair. But he also said he wants to abolish all the prisons. And he wants to replace certain police officers with social workers. So for domestic abuse calls, you get a therapist showing up at your house instead of a police officer. He also said he wants to stop criminalizing certain things. He also said that he wants armed robbery to no longer be considered violent crime. So, that technically would lower the crime statistics if now armed robberies aren't considered violent. But yeah, ultimately, yeah, great. Let's see what happens. Time will tell,
I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, named de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback for the city.
He was trash.
I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
All right, we'll see. Look, obviously, I want New York to do well. I don't... As pleasant as it would be to say I told you so when it becomes a shithole inevitably, I would love to be proven wrong and New York to flourish. It won't.
Mr. President,
Thank
you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would, especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
Wow. Dude, what happened in that meeting?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think he's...
And now all the leftists are calling him a Nazi. Dude, this backfired so badly, it's insane. Dude, we agree on more than I would have thought, and all the leftists are like, uh-oh. Oh, no. But I thought Trump was Hitler. Wait, did we just elect Hitler?
I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. You know, he may have different views, but in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me.
To be fair, I think Bernie Sanders is trash, but that's not the point.
And I felt...
Unfortunately, populism works. And also, fortunately, populism works. Bernie Sanders was able to talk to the people, despite the fact that he was a socialist, communist shill. I think socialism and communism is inherently an inherently immoral stance to have. And it's actually kind of disgusting.
Very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, you know, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But... no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
Gotcha question. Fucking kick her out. All right. Look, I don't like Mamdani. I'm not gonna make believe I do, but I still do. I hate the media more. You know what? I'm just going to say it. I hate the media more than I hate Mamdani. Get her out. Get her ass out of the room. I hate gotcha questions. This isn't some sort of college debate. What is this?
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes...
Well, but I know, but
what a garbage question. He's the mayor of New York. He has to he has to work. Oh, God. It's so cringe. Like, what would you want him to take a train so that he can live up to his... Oh, get out of here.
That's a lot quicker, too.
It's a lot quicker. Obviously, you're going to take a plane. You're not going to take a train. What a fucking retard question. I hate the media.
I mean, he's working very hard for him to be... It's very...
It's true. Like, for example... what's his name? There's the Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know if any of you remember this. Leonardo DiCaprio used to make all these speeches about how the environment's the most important thing, how we have to worry about carbon emissions and all that shit. And then he went to the Oscars on his private jet. That guy's a complete retard. Okay, this is not the same thing. It's a stupid gotcha question.
A very long drive. I'll stick up for you. You know, the plane takes you 30 minutes and
sticking up for him. Oh my God. This is why the left is losing their mind. They can't stand this. They don't want to see success. You don't understand. Your average guy on the right wants to build. I really think your average guy on the left wants to destroy. He wants to destroy the traditional values, destroy the biblical values that the country is built on, destroy a strong faith in God or in the family, destroy any form of tradition. A traditional male and female marriage is apparently something evil now in society. I haven't seen one of those depicted in Hollywood in a long time, you know. They cannot stand it. They would rather see New York go to shit under a Republican than succeed under a leftist that is bending the knee to Trump. And that's why they can't stand this.
Driving takes you a long
Mr.
time.
President, I was wondering if you could clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
This is a nothing.
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters, beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
You are a peacemaker, and you did the peace in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see.
Yeah, you do realize that the funding to Israel is less than 0.1% of funding, or of like foreign funding that this shit goes to. Like, again, these people all criticized USAID's shutdown, right? They absolutely hated that. Like, you have to understand what I want to make my stance clear first. I don't want to see foreign funding in general. All right, I don't want foreign funding to happen, period. As little as possible. You know, cut it down by 80% at least. Like, I really hate foreign funding. It's disgusting. Like, we have people in our country that are suffering, and we're funding everything around the world. I don't like that. That's my stance. Singling Israel out as the recipient of our foreign funding is also disingenuous as fuck. We've been sending money to LGBT in Afghanistan and underwater surprise lesbian butt sex in North Korea. All right, we've been funding bullshit around the world for years that no one cared about. The only thing they care about is Israel, obviously, because they use that as a way to attack Western values in general, because that is the goal here. Also, for the record, Israel is not committing a genocide in Gaza. That was literally hugely debunked news. They were never starving. There were never starvations. Hamas started a war and lost the war miserably using human shields. Israel literally did whatever they could to avoid civilian casualties, to the point that 85% of the people killed in Gaza, it was proven, were combat-aged males. 85%! That's not a genocide. Again, everyone knows this if they're even remotely reasonable. But again, it's a really easy buzzword.
Right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following...
That's why I want to get rid of foreign funding, and also foreigners that are illegal in the country.
Of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace, and he worked hard to make the peace?
True.
Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere.
He did work hard to do the peace.
Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I share...
Yes! In other words, yes. Thank you, President Trump, for doing that thing that all of the other guys are screaming about genocide, but they refuse to thank Trump. And this is another reason why the leftoids are furious at him. Because ultimately, he's out here thanking Trump for making a peace deal. And all the other radical retards out there, they're crying. They didn't want peace. I want to make something very clear to you about your average Palestinian activist like Hassan Piker. They never wanted peace. They wanted dead Palestinian children that they could use their bodies to stand on their bodies to yell about how America bad, how Trump bad, how Israel bad, how Christianity bad, and how Judaism bad. Ultimately, that was the purpose of these protests. It was never about Palestinians in Gaza, because if it was, they would be protesting Hamas for starting a war they knew they couldn't win and refusing to end it, even when they had the opportunity to do so on day one. All right? But again, it's a disingenuous, again, you have to understand the Trojan horse. All right? It really is. The Free Palestine protests were the Trojan horse to radicalize the left against Western values.
With President Trump, that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President, question for Mr. Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused on New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him.
Damn.
But I really think he has a chance to do a great job.
Bro, this is honestly insanely good. Look, as someone that I know that some people wanted to see fireworks. In a way, the cynical bitch in me definitely wanted me to see fire. I wanted to see it too. All right, I'm not gonna lie. Some screaming, some yelling, another shut up Zelensky, get the fuck out of here. I would have laughed. I'm not gonna lie. This is way better by any metric. Ultimately, what I want is a prosperous, successful country. I want that more than anything else, to be honest. Like in the realm of politics, at least. So yeah, no, that's incredible.
You answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats. I think it's more appropriate for him.
And they fucking hate him. I'm telling you, all the Democrats are turning on this guy. They turned on him before he was elected. Now they're turning on him again. They don't know what to do because turns out maybe you do need to suck off Trump in order to become a successful Democrat. The twist is crazy.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether
another thank you, Trump.
New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go in a different direction, and I think you really have a chance to make it great.
Damn. Another thank you.
New York City, Mr. Mamdani.
Oh boy, dude, Mamdani doesn't know what to do with himself. He's like, do I accept all the praise and become the enemy of the left that I've worked so hard to cultivate by saying Trump is evil, or not? Like, bro, this is so wild. This is the greatest soap opera of all time, and it's not like all of our lives are at stake, except they literally are.
Does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable, and I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential
a little bit of Trump glaze to sprinkle on top
election because of that focus on cost of living, and I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more, go ahead. 1 or 2 more, go ahead. I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting.
Yeah, it's because it's a radical leftist who ran his entire campaign on how Trump is a dictator Hitler. And now here he is. Again, this is just, once again, firmly putting a nail into the coffin that the Jews control Trump theory. Because the Jews hate Zohran Mamdani. Right? This is a dude that chants globalize the intifada. We need to arrest Netanyahu. Israel's genociding everybody. Dude, Zohran Mamdani is like a radical... he's hated by all the Jews. Right? Let's be clear. I think 75% of the Jews did not vote for him, even though he got the popular vote in New York. Dude... And Trump likes him. What can I say? The Jews aren't controlling the government enough, it seems. Come on, Jews. What are you doing? Come on, Jews. Jews, step up your game. All right, you're going to elect more radical Islamists? Come on, Jews.
The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares. But they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
I think I'm going to say something controversial here. I'll say it anyway. It's because the Abrahamic religions are the closest to truth that this world actually has. So it's the battle for the future and the battle for the civilization of all of mankind that rests in the balance here. And everyone intuitively knows that. And that is exactly why everyone pays attention to it. That's exactly why everyone's paying attention to it.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was going to ask exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more,
if you look at the news, 90% of the news is about some form of Christian, Jewish, or Islamic civilization every single time. It's 90% of the news worldwide.
Around this in some form.
Because I think he's different. All right.
Oh boy.
I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way. But I think he's different than, your typical guy runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. Because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point. And he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping him. But he's different than, your average candidate. He came out of nowhere.
This is Trump putting New York before putting politics. He could have taken an easy W from his constituents by just saying he's a radical leftist, fuck him. But he's not, because he's putting the people first.
I said, he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. What'd you start off at 1 or 2? And then I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR. and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal, and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on affordability. It can be transformative.
You know, we have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vaults. That was missing for years. I found it.
Missing for years.
Democrat.
It's in the Kennedy sex tunnels. No one knew it existed.
To the best of my knowledge, he's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said that you both spoke about crime. There are many police officers set to come off the rolls at the end of this year in New York City. Are you going to allow those police to be replaced with police officers, actual cops?
Oh boy, here we go.
Are you going to require that happens?
He ran on defunding the police. I bet you he's going to cave. He's going to say, no, of course we're going to replace all the cops.
Would there be some consequence if the
Well, I hope
staff...
it happens, but again, it's going to be ultimately the mayor's decision.
What's your answer?
Is that I look forward to delivering public safety with the NYPD, and I've said over the course of...
Wait. No more defunding the police. Was that another Trojan horse? Did you lie about that too?
Our campaign that we have the number of police officers today, they are the ones that's budgeted about 35,000 headcount. And I think the key thing is that we have to make it easier for police to focus on police work, not ask them to respond to 200,000 mental health calls a year.
So is that a reduction from what you're at right now? Are you committing to maintaining the same level of cops?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we had through
First of all, that's a lie. He did not commit to that. He said he wanted to defund the police. That's crazy. So essentially what he wants to do is keep the same 35,000 cops, but in addition to that, also add a small army of therapists and social workers. And who's paying for all this? Oh, that's right, the white neighborhoods. Dude, it's such a nightmare.
Campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers, social workers.
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus.
So he lied about defunding the police to get the retard vote, and then he swings around and he's like, no, actually, we have a lot of criminals here. We're not able to actually defund the police. Classic. Once again, proven correct. This guy, this blue retard over here, proven right. Oopsie.
On serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner, I believe, right?
Yes, we did. Commissioner Tisch.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct.
Commissioner Tisch, that's what they're calling him now, Zionist. Dude, I love the leftists. They're so retarded. It's unbelievable how they manage to like function and get a stranglehold over our culture so badly. It's insane. It's insane if you think about it. But these guys, they think this is a radical Islamist communist, and they're all just like, oh my God, he's a fascist Nazi Zionist. This is crazy.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent. And
he's like, yeah, we kept a really great personal friend of Donald Trump. This couldn't have gone better. This actually could not have gone better.
He just retained her, so that's a good sign.
Mr. President, are there still topics that you see the two of you disagreeing on in the future? And do you think you'll have more meetings like this?
There will be topics that we disagree on. I think we'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately, he'll convince me, or I'll convince him. You know, it's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good.
Dude, I just remember like the meeting with Bill Maher. Bill Maher was one of the biggest Trump haters of all time. He met up with Trump for one dinner, and he became a Trump fan. I just feel like this happens to everybody. Everyone hates Trump because the media poisons you. You meet up with Trump, and it's like, wow, actually, this guy's kind of like on point. That's insane.
Good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see. If this city could be unbelievable, if he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Do you think you guys will meet more in the future, too?
Excuse?
Do you think you'll meet again in the future, throughout the administration?
I think we will. I hope we do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning. And
I mean, to be fair, he's called him a jihadist. He's called him a fascist and a Nazi. These are ultimately political words. It's a way to rile up people to your cause, ultimately more than anything else. This is the giant soap opera that we're playing on, and now once he's elected, it's down to business. I personally do think he's a jihadist. That's my personal opinion, and I think that he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. But hey, I hope I'm proven wrong.
You know, you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that
true?
She's a very
True. It's a campaign, baby. Everything's fair at a campaign.
Capable person.
Bro.
But
that's the difference between these people. It's like these guys ran a campaign, right? So he called Trump a fascist, Nazi, Hitler on the campaign. And now he's cozying up to Trump because he actually wants to get stuff done. Once the campaign ends and once the election happens, you fucking lost. Drink a tall glass of get over it and just get over it. Like the Democrats crying and shutting down the government, it's only going to make you guys look more pathetic. And it's like, it's all these things. Trump is the president. Work with this guy. Try to make the country good. Because ultimately, you guys are going to keep failing when you play this endless power struggle where you cry and squeal that you lost again and again.
You really have to ask her about that, but no, I don't particularly. I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again, and I can say again, because New York was great. You know, when I came down to Washington initially.
You just said that this guy is running on his own slogan, bro.
The city was so hot; it was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along. And it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now, the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
You chose not to answer the question about the civic.
Bro, this went better than I could have ever expected. It really did. It really did. Honestly, what I want is a successful country. I want a successful New York, obviously. Do I think it's going to happen under Zohran Mamdani? No, I don't, because I think he's going to fight tooth and nail to protect the illegals and to run his campaigns, and I think he has his eyes set on brighter futures past New York already. I think he has goals that very much aligned with his religious beliefs, which I've spoken about in previous videos. But ultimately, I would love a success. Success sounds great. It would be fantastic. Whether it actually happens or not. What is really funny is the fact that essentially he just got Zohran Mamdani to co-sign a lot of his slogans. Make New York great again. We see things the same way. He's keeping the people that I support. Like, this is why the Democrats are, and especially like the radical leftists, they're losing it with this guy. They're freaking out. They're calling him a Nazi Zionist fascist. It's insane. I've never seen it before. The left wing of fascism. Oh my God, that's incredible. He's a national socialist. Dude, let the meltdowns continue. While I think that us normal people are really fighting for a brighter, safer, healthier, better country. Let them keep crashing out about random bullshit. So, closing thoughts. There are two genders. And some people just don't live in reality. I don't know. Have you noticed that some people are just retarded?